For tonight, you will see the top-seeded team in the East, North Carolina, take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. In Michigan, both times they broke 100. The Fighting Irish, they eliminated Middle Tennessee State and TCU by a point. Good evening, everybody.
In the country for a couple of years now. He's a guy maybe assigned to Rivers, but if he has to chase Rivers, he might not have anything left offensively.
Billy, with North Carolina breaking 100 in both games, pace is so important. I spoke to Digger Phelps and Dean Smith, the coaches. Irish, notice up front, Donald Royal is 6'8", Stevenson 6'6", Post 6'9", in the backcourt 6'3", David Rivers is an even 6. Look at the Tar Heels with Wolf and Popson. They go 6'11", 6'10", 6'9", J.R. Reed in the middle, then two 6'3" guards in that backcourt. For Carolina, a decided edge up front. Inside, Notre Dame will try to use quickness and a tempo game here. Carolina would like it up in the 90s or even the 100s. The Irish want it down in the 60s if they can get it. Billy, as we start, first field goal, they hit Dave Popson. How about the keys in this game?
Excellent screen on that play, Brandon. You can see North Carolina so much bigger inside. The key to this ball game is going to be tempo. Can North Carolina figure out a way to make Notre Dame put the ball up without expending about 30 seconds, 35 seconds on every possession? J.R. Reed also on the inside is a guy that's capable of having big offensive games against a club like Notre Dame.
They leave Stevenson alone, but he can't get it off the glass, and the ball goes to the Tar Heels. Pass inside. Can't get it to fall. And here come the Irish. They'll take the break if it's there. Hicks coming around, and Smith fouled him. John Clougherty, the referee, made the first call of the game. He is working with Lynn Shortnessy and Ron Spittler. Tim Higgins again the alternate in this game.
Fred, on that play, Digger Phelps looked down at Hicks and said, no, I don't want that. He just kept using his hands movement that he doesn't want him to get into breaking action.
Gary Post, the most improved member of the Fighting Irish, the center, hands it off to Rivers.
You can see Lebo on Rivers, not one to expend all of Kenny Smith's energy. Now they switch.
At the baseline, Lebo with the hand on it, knocked it out of bounds. Billy, I don't believe it. There's one of my teams, Alabama, and Rick Pitino and Providence routed them this afternoon.
Well, two Big East teams beating two SEC teams tonight. I'm kind of surprised, although a lot of people knew Providence with that three-point shooting a threat against anybody.
Royal. It's the first field goal for Notre Dame. Tied at 2, just underway, East Region semifinals.
Now North Carolina's motion game, constant movement, trying to go inside with a lob, nothing there.
Turnover, and it goes to the Irish. Chance to take their first lead for Digger Phelps.
Kenny Smith on Rivers. Rivers can put the ball between his leg, behind his back. Very good with the ball.
J.R. jumped out and almost stole it. Royal recovers in time, and Rivers with a 3. Offensive rebound by Vos. Misses. Wolf away for Carolina.
Notre Dame not a three-point shooting team. They've only made 41 all year. Push off by Reed, gets 5. Vos is right. He got pushed off on the play.
Watch the defense from up above, Billy.
Okay, man-to-man. Carolina using a lot of traps. Here comes a double team on Rivers, trying to get rid of the ball.
Rivers recovers.
He is clever with that ball. Not a palm on that play. North Carolina overplays every pass. Even their 6'10 players can move out on the floor and guard somebody.
Royal coming in. That's 2 quick fouls on Kenny Smith. The key stat in the early moments here of this game.
North Carolina foul committed by Kenny Smith. His second.
Kenny Smith, of course, suffered a knee injury this year. Did not play against Notre Dame. Almost like a phantom operation. I mean, they had the operation. He was back 1 game later.
Over in the corner was to Scott Hicks, who brings it back out. The tempo being slowed down by Rivers.
North Carolina goes to zone to protect Kenny Smith a little bit. They're in their 1-3-1 zone with Popson running the baseline.
his three to the corner. Irish lead first time. Lebo right back. He is banged. He'll shoot a pair. Boy, he was taken down hard. Stevenson got into him with his first personal foul, and Jeff Lebo felt that one coming.
Lebo, an outstanding all-around player, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Was recruited as what many thought to be one of the finest high school guards in the country.
No carnation, you may have noticed over there on Coach Phelps. That's because this is not a home game. I said, Digger, you're 0-4 in the Meadowlands. Wear a carnation and pretend.
0-4, lost to Seton Hall, Fordham.
The Biggie's got it.
Rutgers. He doesn't have many places he's 0-4.
6-5, Carolina over the Irish.
You can see again, everybody clears out, gives Rivers plenty of room to operate.
It's the trap. They get it off to Stevenson. Post sets the screen. And Royal gets around, and Dean Smith wanted the charge. Wolf gets it to J.R. Reed. Turns quickly, misfires. Traveling. North Carolina's ball on the turnover. Along with Billy Packer, I'm Brent Musburger here in the Meadowlands Arena, East Rutherford, New Jersey. The #1 team in the East, North Carolina, trailing the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame by a point, 7-6. 16-12 to go, first half. Carolina in the white. The higher-seeded team always wears the home whites. Wolf, a great shooting forward, took it outside for his first field goal.
Brent, men that set good screens often get good shots, and Joe Wolf set the good back screen for Popson and then stepped out because nobody was there to handle him.
Royal, a very active member of this Irish offense. He came alive midway through the season, had some great games for Phelps. Stevenson cuts off the Royal screen, using their screens very well and getting good shots against Carolina. Now Reed will go to the glass.
Oh, what a move.
Just a freshman.
He's an awesome performer with the quickness and the good hands to snake right on through there like he was about 6'3". Dean Smith is starting to work the referees, talking about 5-second counts out here in the back line.
Stevenson again inside. Got the roll that time.
Give Royal credit for seeing the double team and dishing off.
We've had 7 lead changes already here. The opening 5.5 minutes, and Lebo gives us another one.
And I would say the pace is a little faster than Digger Phelps won. We're already over 10 each at the 14-minute mark. They'll get the pace slowed down a little bit here.
And Dean getting ready to show us the bench as Hicks is short. Reed off with the pass. Here's Smith.
Carolina will pull up for the three. He does. Off balance.
Royal makes a good grab underneath, kept it away from Wolf. Here's Rivers.
North Carolina doesn't mind on the break, pulling up, taking a three-point shot. Even the delayed break, they'll take a three-pointer.
Hicks inside. And they keep possession. So we've got a television timeout at the 13:54 mark. We'll be back.
Number 20, Steve Bucknall.
CBS Sports presents the NCAA Basketball Championship. Tonight's regional semifinal game from East Rutherford is sponsored by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. And by United Airlines, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. Notre Dame's ball. They trail North Carolina 12-11 with 13:50
2:54 to go in the first half. Dean Smith substituted 3 players. Steve Bucknell, number 20, 42 Scott Williams, another of his talented freshmen, and 33 Ranzino Smith, the junior guard, into the lineup. Smith sits down with 2 personal fouls. J.R. Reed stays in. The front line of the future, if you will, for North Carolina now on the floor.
Bucknell, a tough defender out there on Stevenson. Good double team.
With lightning quick trap. And the Irish burn it. It's Royal again. 6 points here in the first half.
Been a mark of a very well coached ball club. Anytime they see that trap, they know how to break free, get the ball, protect it well.
Bucknell looking for a receiver. Digger reminding the official. Williams in low. Yanked away by Hicks.
Hicks is an excellent athlete, can get up on the boards. Even though he's a guard, can really leap.
Coming down with Stevenson. Now I want to remind everybody that the tape delayed game between Syracuse and Florida, you may not want to know the score before you watch it. If you look away, we'll flash that final up on the screen. It was a fine game, and I will not tell you what the final score was. Those of you who wanted to see obviously took a look, and the winner of that game meets the winner of this for the East Region Championship on Saturday afternoon. Vos hits the field goal. Billy, what about this Notre Dame offense?
North Carolina loves the trap, but so far in this game, Digger's club is so well schooled against the trap that it's putting them in a position to get wide open shots. Many people talk about trying to get solid on defense. Right now, North Carolina with the trap, since they're being beat, is not really solid.
Lebo. Bo shanks away the rebound. David Rivers looks down the floor. Stevenson was open underneath, and Hicks didn't see him.
But he saw Digger Phelps, and Digger Phelps is saying, keep that ball back outside. Play the tempo ball.
Now Rivers cuts off, gets inside, gets J.R. Reed up in the air, and he traveled.
There's where David Rivers gets a little bit free-spirited, goes inside among the trees, and really can't do anything in there.
Digger telling David Rivers now to calm down and keep the pace down, Billy, as you've been pointing out over here. David's hometown is only 15 minutes from here. Mother and father watching the game. Obviously wants to make a big impression here in front of a lot of his relatives and friends. J.R. Reed up high, uses the glass. 6 points for Reed in the first half.
A lot of good screens by North Carolina down low. Got Bose in a lot of trouble.
Royal helping out against the pressure. He's done a good job.
He really has, Brent. It's great to have a big man who can step back out there, make a good catch and a solid play.
Stevenson.
Good defense by Buckner. He's turning into a stopper.
And Reed steals as a result of that good defense. Gets too fancy with the dribble. Regains it, smashes in. No whistle yet. Bodies go fly.
Boy, Reed got by maybe with 2 on that one. Digger can't believe it.
Here's Williams. Notre Dame rebounds with Bose, and another body goes fly. Well, if that's the way they're going to call it, if you're an athlete, you just say, let's call it that way all game long. Let's understand the rules.
Royal with a good screen.
Stevenson cut up by Bucknell, forces another steal. J.R. Reed didn't look for a receiver on the left side. He was worried about his dribble. Doesn't get the shot to foul. And there's a foul. It'll go against Rivers, his first.
Brent, not many big guys, particularly not freshman big guys, are capable of taking the ball 70 feet for a score. In this particular case, Reed would have been much better off giving the ball off and then being the receiver at the end on the break. Particularly with a David Rivers bodying him down in low where he can really attack the ball.
Kenny Smith returns, and Sean Connor is the first substitute for Notre Dame.
Reed's been to the foul line 198 times times this year. Shows how active he is inside.
J.R. Reed ties the game at 15. Dave Popson returning, and Reed takes a break at the 10:18 mark.
Replaces J.R. Reed.
Big deal now. With 10 minutes to go, Kenny Smith with 2 fouls on him. Dean Smith can't afford to have him pick up the third, but he picks up Rivers.
And Williams fouls Rivers in the backcourt. That is 4 team fouls against the Tar Heels and only 2 against the Irish. In the college game, you shoot the 1-and-1 when you hit 7 a half.
Well, we're right at the 10-minute mark. Both teams have 15. You multiply that times 4, that's a 60-point game. That's what Digger wants.
Quick turnaround by Royal. Williams rebounds the miss.
You see how well Notre Dame gets back on a missed shot? Just don't give you that fast break opportunity.
Hobson ends the scoring drought. Count the field goal.
David Popson realized the defender was on his hip. You can feel it right here. He knew the defender was coming the wrong way. That's where experience plays. The senior gets to feel that play as opposed to having to look and see.
Billy J.R. hit that free throw, but Carolina had scored only 1 field goal in the last 4 minutes before Popson operated on that move to the basket. Joe Wolf returns for Dean Smith, and Scott Paddock checks in for Notre Dame. Paddock, a freshman, 6'9" tall. So we'll see what Notre Dame's center of the future looks when you come back. North Carolina leading Notre Dame by 3 points. High-scoring teams in the NCAA so far. North Carolina averaging 111 points. The top 4 still alive. Providence winning tonight. Alabama has been eliminated. North Carolina set a school scoring record this year, but the 58 points they scored in South Bend, their lowest point total of the season. The Irish keeping the tempo down in this game.
The 2 games in which they were in the 60s, they lost this year. So it's very important for them to try to pick up the tempo, but it's going to be tough to do.
They're on a 6-0 scoring run. Rivers tossing one up. Good rebound by Hicks. No whistle underneath. Ball still loose. Williams goes after it. And it was touched last by Notre Dame. Sean Connor, 33, dove at the ball and knocked it out of bounds.
Scott Williams is very quick for a big man. He really hustled after that ball. He's been coming on strong to give Dean Smith another big guy inside.
Paddock going out on Popson. Wolf. This is Kenny Smith. This is a Carolina team that shoots better than 50% all season long. There's a freshman getting in low for the field goal, and Carolina builds a 5-point lead.
For those people who saw the North Carolina-UCLA game early in the year, Williams and Reed really had problems in that game, but they've come on a long way now. Williams, particularly in the last couple of weeks, has really made some moves.
Rivers at the baseline, hammered. And the other game underway in the Southeast. 9-4 Kansas jumps ahead of Georgetown. Popson's first personal foul. 5 team fouls on Carolina and 3 on Notre Dame. That a shooting foul. Rivers moves up for a pair.
And Brett, you know that score right there, Kansas and Georgetown. What's great about college basketball is there's so many different ways to win a game. That game is similar to this one. And in fact, Georgetown wanted to force tempo. Kansas is the kind of team that can slow things down because they've got the great guard to hang on to the ball. So a lot of different ways to attack this game.
Jameer Jackson, the freshman guard from Peoria, Illinois, moves into the lineup.
I think Digger's sensing the fact that he doesn't want his team to wear down. As long as he can stay tight, start using some people.
Within 3.
Notre Dame at 40, Jameer Jackson.
They go zone now for the first time. 1-3-1 zone. Notre Dame matches up in this defense.
Smith had cut free. Smith with that left-handed jump shot. Paddock with the rebound. And the Irish can close back to within 1 point. Play is called from the sideline. Rivers, the captain of this team, on the floor. Passes it on. The penetration didn't take any time, and it's a 1-point game.
Rivers sensed the screen that time and went away from the screen.
Williams on the turnaround.
Well, that wasn't his toughest shot as he made against Virginia to keep North Carolina alive in the ACC tournament. But you can see this young man's player.
Knocked away, Ranzino goes, and Royal runs it down. Short on the shot.
Uh-oh, Joe Wolf came down on that ankle.
He's been playing with a bad ankle. He was in pain when he came down on it. You can see him flexing.
Probably going to come out. Dean Smith going to let him keep running on it.
Jeff Lebo, J.R. Reed, and Steve Bucknell return for the Tar Heels. Royal, and Reed got a hand on it. Here's Smith on the break. Gets it back to J.R. His defense set it up.
J.R. was going for the dunk on that one, but he left the ground too soon. Almost lost the handle.
Dean Smith didn't like somebody referring to him as the main man. Main enough for me that time.
You see, North Carolina tries to force you to go baseline where they get a lot of help.
Going the other way on the offense. First foul against Royal. 24-19 North Carolina, Billy.
What happens when you play against North Carolina for the first time, which is not Notre Dame's case, but you don't see a constant diet of them. Very unusual for a team to force you down baseline. You think you're wide open, and then all of a sudden, here come the traps on the baseline. And then it's very difficult to either get the shot up or get the pass off.
3 starters return for the Irish. Gary Vose, Mark Stevenson, and Scott Hicks. Kenny Smith right now is 1 assist shy of the school record of Phil Ford's. Goes out of bounds, and it's Notre Dame's ball.
Bucknell threw a rocket over there, and he had J.R. Reed in position for the score. Kenny Smith's job is not to steal the ball from Rivers, but just contain him and make him pick up his dribble. As example.
Royal dives to save it, but it went out of bounds. Terrific effort by Royal. We're live at the Meadowlands Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey. I'm Brent Musburger, along with Billy Packer. North Carolina in white with possession, leading Notre Dame 24-19. 6:30 to go, first half.
Boy, Hicks doing a job on Kenny Smith. You don't find many athletes quick enough to stay face-to-face with him.
That's the 3rd Tar Heel turnover.
Now, this is what I was talking about, Brent. The job for Kenny Smith is to make David Rivers pick up his dribble. Don't try to take it away from him. When he does that, then everybody else overplays the pass, makes it tough for Notre Dame.
Rivers comes inside. Can't get the layup to fall. Reed off with another rebound. Smith gets inside and takes it for the field goal, his first of the game.
That shows you what it's like to explode with the dribble. Right by Hicks.
And the Tar Heels build their biggest lead, 26-19.
Double team in the corner. There's got to be somebody open.
And the foul is called against Carolina. Jeff Lebo's first, team's 6th.
Man, what's so tough over there? There's no passing lane for you. When you're trapped down over in that corner, the man that's probably open is going to be all the way across court, but very difficult to see him when you've got 2 men all over you.
Royal knocks 2 to the floor.
Dean Smith asking for an elbow call.
And Lou Holtz writes a note, and Joe Wolf is limping badly right now. They're going to have to take him out of the game. A big development here for the Tar Heels.
But you can't call timeout if you're the official, in this case with Notre Dame in possession. Unless the man stands a chance to get further injured.
That's it. Joe Wolf is going to have to leave this game right now. Dean Smith said yesterday he was very concerned about this ankle. Now, Watch Royal here.
See, he steps right on it and twists it badly, right on a sneaker. Remember a play a few minutes ago, Brent, where he came down on that ankle and looked like he hurt it a little bit? Would have been a good idea to get him out of there. He's really hurting now.
While he agonizes, Scott Williams, the freshman, comes in to play that spot. Oh, Hal gets to the glass for the tag.
You know, he is rubbing his knee over there, Brent, not his ankle.
And they're putting ice on that knee.
Notre Dame getting a little flustered here. They better keep the ball in the hands of Royal.
Foul by Reed. That's the first on J.R. Reed. You know, Billy, over the last 7 minutes, Carolina has run off a 16-4 run here on the Irish to open up a 28-19 lead.
Brent, when you're playing a team like Notre Dame, and you know what they want to do with tempo, and you get a 6 to 8 point lead, that's like having a 15 to 16 point lead against a club like, let's say, in Oklahoma, that's going to let you run up and down that floor. So now's when North Carolina really has to be patient with that ball, make sure they get good shots, try to extend their lead. If you're Notre Dame, you want to keep that ball more in the hands of Royal. They've been getting it out of his hands lately.
Free throws become important as Wolf continues to ice the knee. Carolina over the limit. The Irish with a couple to give.
How often in athletics, you see when a guy has a bad ankle, he compensates and the knee gets hurt.
So we've got a television timeout, and we'll return in a moment. Bruised knee on the right side, and he also is trying to play through an injured ankle in this tournament. So it is a tough night here for Wolf, who grabs the knee. He was in pain when he went down, and Darrell Royal came between the two. I think I said, Darrell, make that Donald. The old Texas football coach will thank me for the plug.
You know, I'm glad you did that. You know why? Because of my Sonny Allen last week. That was a Freudian slip. It was like my Sonny Allen and Sonny Smith last week.
I must be in the mood for some country music.
I must be.
Where is Darrell Royal when I need him?
I'm a bad influence on you.
14-10. Danny Manning and Reggie Williams squaring off in that one. So Jeff Lebo, boy, North Carolina hitting 60% in this game.
Not unusual for them to shoot the high percentage shot. On the year, they're shooting 54.
I'll tell you who's alive tonight is Bucknell.
He's a high school All-American. I mean, all he wants is playing time.
Grew up in London, England. Played some soccer. His favorite television show is Benny Hill. The only athlete out there who would choose Benny Hill as his favorite.
There, North Carolina going in a little matchup zone of their own. I really like the way Bucknell comes out on defense. JR not a bad target either. North Carolina, Notre Dame's only had the possession down under 20 seconds 4 times in this half. Digger Phelps would like to have it down there a lot more. Now it's down to 5 seconds. They got to get a shot off.
Royal has it knocked away, but he is fouled.
Dean Smith didn't like that. And Dean Smith didn't like that, and he's pointing out to Bucknell, look, the shot clock's down to 5 seconds. You don't want to foul on that play.
And Popson checks into the lineup. Williams, the freshman, sits down.
But when you have a sense that the clock is going down, you just want to play position defense because there's enough pressure on that shooter worrying about the clock, much less reaching in there and picking up a cheap foul. Donald suffered a calf injury this year. Notre Dame, considering their record, Digger Phelps has done an incredible job because he had to go with a lot of injuries. He didn't have David Rivers at the beginning of the year because of that terrible accident. Royal's been hurt. Whoa, that could have been a turnover there. J.R. Reed gave the ball back to Popson.
Papson in low behind that defense. Joe Wolf going to try it. He'll put a knee pad on.
10-point margin again. Remember, in a tempo game, 10-point is like 20 points. Now North Carolina playing their 1-3-1 zone.
Notre Dame going to need that three-point basket here tonight. They haven't featured that all year. Royal with a miss. Papson into the hands of Smith. Smith gets inside Rivers and into the hands of Reed. Reed rebounds the miss, and he was fouled before the shot attempt. That's 2 on Rivers.
Brent, that's what Digger Phelps does not want to see, which is that group of white shirts coming down in mass on the semi-break.
So Kenny Smith sits down, and he has broken Phil Ford's assist record at North Carolina.
That's one that I thought was totally out of reach. Both played 4 years.
Wolf,
good shooter
back in the game. And as Bose came down, he was fouled by Papson. That's the second on Papson. Carolina over the limit. So we go to the 1-on-1 situation for Notre Dame, down by 10.
Brent, you pointed out about Notre Dame needs the three-pointer. Just run this stat by you. They're 41 for 113 this year. North Carolina has taken 461 three-pointers. So entirely different philosophy there on both clubs.
Well, Kenny Smith has shot 198 threes himself for Carolina. Jeff Lebo 142 threes.
Well, with the three-point play, if you don't have it, you're almost forced to do what Digger does, and that is to keep that tempo down. You can't afford to get in these shootout games.
Now, if folks want to see the threes, I'll tell them Florida's coming up on tape. That's all I'll tell you. No more. And Wolf, while he was pulling down the rebound, he was fouled, and that is Royal's second foul. So that Florida game against the Orangemen of Syracuse, a tape delay game coming up at 11:30 Eastern Time after your local news here on CBS.
North Carolina getting the ball inside at will, particularly when they go over the top.
On the floor, Papson scrambling for it.
If you go down on that floor and had it in your possession, it's a walk-in. But if you dive for it, you have that ability to go ahead and make the play, not a walk.
Reed has it knocked away by Royal. Run down in the corner by Hicks as the time moves down to 1:30. 4 turnovers by North Carolina in the first half, and the Hoyas, the mighty Hoyas, tie up Kansas. Rivers on the pull-up jump shot.
That's the shot that beat North Carolina, almost identical play in the first game.
Lebo loses it. Rivers comes back. Too quick for Wolf. Comes in for the layup.
Good comeback by Notre Dame. They've got it down to 6.
Reed cruises for 2 more. That's 11 points for J.R. Reed in the first half.
But what Digger Phelps didn't like about that is if they could have forced North Carolina to put a little time off the clock, they could have gotten the ball back and been able to use up the full 45 seconds. Now they've got to give it up. North Carolina back in the zone again.
19 on the shot clock. They are not synced up, as Billy pointed out.
Dean Smith wanted a big trap.
Royal ships a dangerous pass inside.
Now North Carolina has a full 10 seconds to get something off.
Lebo uses the Papson screen for 2. And Carolina reopens its 10-point lead with time running out in the first half. Now we're going to check in live at that Kansas-Georgetown game at the half. Coming up for you, Jim Nance and James Brown over in our studio. studios. We'll return to the Meadowlands after this message. And a word from Notre Dame. He is very fortunate to be alive, leave alone playing in a regional semifinal. He tells about that night in the second half.
Well, he's got to convince his players, which I'm sure he did at halftime, that this has got to be a pace game. He's asking his players, get me close at the end. And what happens to you as a player, particularly a guy as explosive as Rivers, you try to come back too quickly and get out of the tempo of the game.
Notre Dame scored only 2 field goals in the last 12 minutes. They hit 7 free throws. They were 7 of 8 down the stretch. Bose backing in, misses the first shot. Offensive rebound, out of bounds, Notre Dame.
It looks like one of the things that he told Bose is, you've been carrying us here of late, been getting good offensive production out of you, but you went to sleep in the first half, so get active.
Intercepted by Popson. Tried to throw it across court, and it wound up being the 9th Notre Dame turnover.
And here's North Carolina with all those back screens, looking to get it inside and then step out.
Popson down low was very effective in the first half. Size advantage. He works a screen on Bose. Kenny Smith cuts inside with that great speed, doesn't get the roll. Royal controlling there, gives it up into the hands of Rivers, and the tempo is slowed down. Notre Dame trailing by 10 points.
There's that
Royal with the screen. Rivers slips down and travels. That's the 10th Notre Dame turnover.
Brent, when you see that screen coming up, now the object for a guy in that case was Reed. He was guarding the man that was doing the screen, and he's got to step out, or else Kenny Smith is really going to get picked off. Notre Dame going to the zone now. Oh, they went back to man-to-man. They showed the zone, and now they're in the man.
Wolves turn around all alone.
He loves that corner.
Great size advantage. Off the defensive switch, he had a guard on him, Hicks, and he just turned around and took that baseline shot. He's one of the better baseline shooters in the country, actually.
But when you switch like Notre Dame did on that particular play, then you get caught in a mismatch.
Hicks. And he's on the scoreboard for the first time. His first field goal here tonight.
JR's tough in there.
Short.
That was Hicks that grabbed that rebound off. One-handed. As I said, one of the better leapers around.
Rivers slowly brings it up on Smith.
There's that solid screen. JR steps out well. Then they'll double team off it. Nice play.
Stevenson left alone. Short, run down by Lebo. Goes outside and hits a home run. 3-point play for Joe Wolf.
Not unusual for that big guy to step outside and shoot a 3. 55% shooter from out there.
Size advantage beginning to exert itself.
There's the switch now. Lebo's stuck with Royal.
And as Royal came through, foul was called. That's the 3rd on Popson. Let me welcome those of you who have been watching Kansas and Georgetown, with Georgetown leading at the half. You're taking a peek right now at North Carolina ahead of Notre Dame, 41-28. Carolina was up by 10 at the end of the half. That is Royal of the Fighting Irish getting in. He has 11 points for the game. Kenny Smith, the splendid point guard. Size advantage inside beginning to show up. That's the freshman J.R. Reed turning around and pumping in too. He has scored 13 here tonight for Dean Smith Tar Heels, who are the top-rated team in the East. Those of you who have been watching Kansas and Georgetown might keep in mind that the Southeastern region winner and the winner of the East will meet in a national semifinal in New Orleans in the Final Four. Royal is short, runs down his own miss, glides in for the layup. And a chance for a 3-point play by Donald Royal.
Brent, there was a case where you hear about blocking out all the time. Now watch J.R. Reed. He'll be guarding the shooter. He does not go ahead and block him out. Therefore, Royal was able to go around him and get that rebound.
Let's give you a game summary so far. That was the first personal on Joe Wolf. Carolina 59% from the field. They have utilized the fast break and their inside points. Royal leading the Irish, and Reed for North Carolina, their top scorer.
Reed sat down on that play, got a little lecture from Dean Smith about blocking out.
And Scott Williams replaces him.
Williams had a very good first half.
Smith had practice yesterday. Stopped the scrimmage several times to point out J.R. Reed's mistakes, making sure that the freshman's head does not swell too large. Hobson short on that hook, yanked away by Royal.
Now remember, North Carolina had a big lead on Notre Dame in the first game. That was in the first half. This is not what you'd call a big lead, but for Notre Dame, they've been a good team coming back this year.
Stevenson trying to get a roll going.
43-35.
Hobson waiting for Smith. Now he gets it to Wolf. Wolf injured that right knee in the first half. Was out briefly. Now he has come back and scored 3 field goals here in the second half.
But if there's any place you have to keep Joe Wolf away from if you're the defensive player, is right down on that baseline. He loves to play on the left side.
Officials stopped the clock while they got a handle on the ball. Now it starts at the 15:30 mark, second half. 45-35. Tar Heels 10-point lead. That's the lead they had at the end of the half. 10.
And they go back into the zone. Now what Digger Phelps says, I'm not going to play against this zone. If you want to play the zone, I'll hold it back out here and use up as much of the clock as possible before I attack. So Dean Smith has a double-edged problem there. You know, he wants to force tempo, and yet he wants to force Notre Dame to shoot from the outside.
Of course, he's sitting with a 10-point lead right now, too. Rivers.
You'll want to penetrate.
Comes inside. Great jumping ability by the point guard. That's 11 points by David Rivers here in this game.
Most people say you shouldn't dribble against the zone, but Rivers is really effective putting that ball down on the zone and just penetrating through the gap.
Bounce pass to Hobson from Smith on the penetration. Wasn't that pretty? Using the bounce pass when you get in close. And Billy, a lot of young basketball players probably would not do that. We've got a timeout. We'll be right back.
What Digger
French, no one. And by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
14:25 left in regulation of this East Regional semifinal. Bill?
Brent, here's what I was saying, just going out of commercial. Now watch this. Hobson really lowers the boom on Boyce inside. That's what Digger Phelps was upset about. He wanted a 2-shot foul on the play. Was probably right.
Royal was able to run the baseline in that situation. And they'll keep it.
Mitchell changed the call, and he was right. Good job by J.R. Reed, knocking the ball out of bounds.
And the foul is on Williams, and Dean Smith couldn't believe it. Well, he went for the high jump record when that foul was called.
Well, what you had there is David Rivers got caught on a switch. He was down inside with Williams, so he was using everything he had to get position. And then Williams, without the experience, is going to go ahead and start throwing arms himself. And he gets called for the foul. You always take care of the little guys, Brent. I mean, how is a 6'11" guy supposed to be the one that's not guilty on that play?
Rivers changes the dribble beautifully. Wasn't that a pretty play by him?
Well, remember yesterday, that's what North Carolina worked on for about what seemed like a fourth of their practice, but Rivers just split the double team.
Boy, Lebo is being banged around on the inside, coming through, gets the pass. Williams loses the handle. Loose ball, jump, and they retain possession. Possession arrow pointing in their direction.
You know, I'm not so sure that that little fisticuff that we had right before the timeout didn't fire Notre Dame up a little bit. Digger loves that opportunity to get his team into it.
Smith Smith quiet at the scoring end. We're talking about someone who averaged 17 points a game this season. Shot better than 50%.
He's got a man on him, and Scott Hicks is a good enough athlete not to let him blow by. So give a lot of credit to Hicks on that play.
So the Irish trying to get a roll now. They've hit their last 4 shots. They have closed that margin. Stevenson. Offensive rebound, Royal. Knocked free. And again, Notre Dame coming up with loose balls now. They are out hustling Carolina for the first time in this game. They close to within 6. 47-41 at the 13-10 mark. Knocked away from Williams. Here come the Irish. Stevenson rejected by Williams, and again Notre Dame gets a loose ball. Goes out of bounds. Notre Dame's possession.
Notre Dame doesn't want a fast break, but when you've got yourself a 4-on-2 opportunity, you've got to take it. And you hear Digger hollering out Virginia. A little copy play here.
Here's Rivers cutting to the middle. Won't stay down. And it goes to Carolina.
Notre Dame out scrapping them all the way, although they're much smaller on this last 2-3 minutes here. Since the altercation, they have been going to the board.
The Irish on an 11-4 run over the last 4 minutes. Smith's 3. Williams rebounds. Wolf on a turnaround. He's hit in the face by Royal. Chance for a 3-point play.
Joe Wolf, that steadying influence, offensively and defensively. That's a big play for North Carolina because Digger Phelps is going to have to go to the bench again.
Sean Connor checks in. Stevenson sits down.
Stevenson's pulled up short on a couple of jumpers that he had that were wide open. Connor is a pretty good shooter.
Pulls down the missed free throw.
Brent, as the game goes down the wire, when you're a #1 seeded club, the pressure really shifts over to you being the top dog. And here's that double team. Rivers keeps the dribble alive.
Hicks. Wolf. Outlet to Smith. Pull up.
Can't buy it.
Royal pulls down a rebound. Smith is only 1 of 6.
Went ice cold in the ACC tournament. Rivers so clever with that ball.
Here's Vos. Doubled up. Wolf stays with him. Loose. Irish get it again. Rivers 3 on the money. 16 points by David Rivers. 49-44. Away from the ball, down inside.
Both sent a push off. J.R. Reed will go to the line.
And Digger returns Stevenson to the lineup, and Connor sits down.
We're not in the 1-and-1 yet. A lot of pushing taking place. And North Carolina get it out of bounds.
At the 11:20 mark, we have 3 team fouls on Carolina and 2 on the Irish. Reed has been quiet lately, and that's because it draped all over him inside, and finally the foul is called. Royal came through with him that time. I mean, he was draped on him.
This is really not a good foul, Brandon. It makes no sense to get caught defensively in a position like that. You're just giving one away. Notre Dame's a team that goes to that foul line more than its opponents all but 5 times this year.
Now that is 4 personal fouls on Donald Royal. So Sean Connor quickly returns, and this time it will be Royal with 4 personals. He'll have to sit down.
That really hurts Digger, not only for the defensive end, because that's his outlet man on the offense. But they're really pushing JR. That's another foul.
This time it's Connor. And now Digger is furious.
Well, Connor, that's a foul. You just can't go after a man and attack him. Digger's doing what he's got to do. Try to get a little balance from the referees, but his men are committing the fouls at this point.
14 fouls on Notre Dame, 3 on North Carolina. It is very physical underneath, and it has been all this half. JR breaks free with a little daylight that time, so when they get off him and they don't put a body on him, he makes them pay for it.
Any guy that strong that maybe ought to be able to get at least one of his arms down around his waist.
Rivers, he comes right back. Boy, would he like to play in an up-tempo game.
He'd be something to watch.
Smith comes through the glass, breaks his scoring drought, his second field goal here tonight.
But Brent, you can see what happens when Notre Dame turns it up and goes quick like that. Then North Carolina will get right in there running games. So Digger Phelps again uses those hands to say, slow down. Even though Rivers made the shot, it's not the tempo. He tries to keep a game close down into the last 2 or 3 minutes. North Carolina playing a little zone right now. Rivers' penetration hurt him. Look for him to come out and jump trap here in a second.
Hicks has it knocked away, and Post gets the field goal. At 6 points for the Irish center.
From Scott Hicks, 53-48.
Oxen with a quick move.
You can see how North Carolina is drilled inside for that little drop step move. They feel the pressure of the defense and roll the opposite way. Nobody back, 5 seconds potential here.
Now we've got a timeout. Dean Smith did not ask for it. It's a television timeout, and we'll do, most of you will see that. You'll also get to peek in on that Oklahoma-Iowa game. That should be a dandy. And then later, live from Seattle, UNLV and Wyoming. And Wyoming, certainly the true Cinderella left in this tournament. Billy, would you give Wyoming a shot against Jerry Tarkanian and the Running Rebels in that game?
I would, because they have a big postman in Lechner, and Eric Lechner's the kind of guy that you get it down low, he can pick up some fouls, get UNLV in some trouble inside with Gillum and Bass Knight, and that's what they're going to have to do to win that game. Good job by Joe Wolf.
Here's Hicks for the Irish. Stevenson with a good rebound. Strong inside move. 8 points for the game, and the Irish close to within 5.
And when you trap like that, there are going to be mismatches down on the weak side. That's what happened for North Carolina. Nobody there to take Stevenson. Tough man-to-man now by Notre Dame.
Wolf comes around the corner. Now that's Popson and Wolf who have turned the corner on the baseline.
North Carolina trying to figure out a way to stop Rivers' penetration. They go back to their 1-3-1 zone again.
Now, Willie.
You got it?
Yeah, William. Listen, they're concentrating so hard on J.R. Reed that nobody's helping out when those other big fellas turn the corner down. Again, they were draped all over J.R. No help against Popson and Wolf, and Dean's really got some size advantage down there. Maybe just tough going. There's a 3 for Rivers. Rivers knows how to reduce it, 57-53.
And he's firing his club up right now. They're getting what they want, keeping the game tight, going down the wire.
Reed behind his man that time.
Again, no help because everybody really trying to overplay the passing lanes. Tough to stop that play unless you've got a 7'3" in there that can reach up and block it.
Boy, they go 6'11", 6'10", 6'9" on that Carolina front line. Stevenson and Wolf with the rebound. Lebo, Reed.
Excellent timing. That was a tough ball to tap in. He almost misjudged the lead.
Digger's going to use a timeout.
Yep, he can't afford to let it get away from him here.
Carolina with a little daylight that man-to-man has become underneath. And look at the Irish with Connor draped all over J.R. Reed, the 6'9 freshman. And certainly there is a reason, because Reed has scored 19 points here with a very delicate tap-on. Very tough shot, as you pointed out.
Well, it was, and Bose is trying as best he can to get in front of J.R. Reed, and when he does there, he doesn't have an opportunity to block him out. That's why J.R. was able to roll in and get that tap in. Royal back in the game with 4 fouls. He's got to be careful on the drive.
Out of bounds, Notre Dame's ball. The Irish close to within 4 points.
I think it's a foul. Did they call that a foul on Kenny Smith? That's his 3rd, Brent.
Yes, they did.
Yep. Reaching in. Now, if you're North Carolina and you realize a guy like Rawls got 4 fouls, and he's really a key to Notre Dame's attack, particularly down the wire here. Rather than trying to block the shot, you want to draw the charge.
Fucked up, fellas.
And that was the freshman talking in there. If you heard his voice saying, "Box out, fellas," he's thinking. His father's did a little coaching.
We better follow through on that throw for Digger.
A lot of switching by Notre Dame. Going to create a mismatch here soon.
Operating it forward along with Wolf. He comes out to get the ball. Smith gave up the shot that time and sent it back. The shot clock's now down to 6.
Oh, the man-child. Dean Smith was upset that J.R. Reed was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. J.R. likes to give that credit to the seniors, but it's pretty hard to deny that this fella is a horse, one of the great players in the country, even though he's just a freshman.
Stevenson against J.R.'s defense gets the roll.
You got to applaud Stevenson. He pulled up short on a couple of jump shots. He's shooting much more positively now. North Carolina going to milk it a little bit and use some clock.
In this game, North Carolina has stayed in control, but they can't shake the Irish. Wolf goes down again. He gets up gingerly, playing with an injured knee and an ankle.
But this is a giant possession right here for Notre Dame. They've got to get it up on the board.
Rivers almost got it to fall. Drew the foul. Bucknell's 3rd. And conclusion of this game, Billy, you and I will select a Chevy Most Valuable Player from both Notre Dame and North Carolina. And Chevy will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of both of these fine schools.
You know, Notre Dame has been a comeback team all year. They were down to Eastern Michigan by 3 and won in overtime. They were down by 14 to Penn and with 10 minutes to go came back to win. Down by West Virginia by 12 with 5:34 to go and lost by 2. Then UNC, of course, they were down by 16 in the first half and came back to win. So they can make the move.
Billy, I have a strange stat for you. For Digger folks, Rivers has scored 22 points, but only 1 assist.
What does that tell you?
I don't know. I'm surprised.
Well, one of the things it tells me is that North Carolina has not come out once he's penetrated and have their big men pick him up. They're making him shoot the ball. If they picked up, then he'd dish off.
Well, his shooting keeping them in this game, 63-58. Contact down away from the ball again, and that for Vos is his 3rd personal.
Boy, they're having a hard time with J.R. Reed. Every time he moves, they're trying to stop his cut. Now here he goes. He makes a move, and he gets kneed right in the thigh. Only 5 team fouls.
Billy, North Carolina's front line is the toughest I've seen in the college game this year to defend. That size and those 2 big forwards working, and J.R. is so active underneath.
And he wants the ball. You know, he makes himself available for every pass when he gets down that low post.
Interesting that Dean Smith has gone down the stretch with those 3 pretty much, too.
There he is again. He wants the ball.
That's 23. We have not seen a lot of substitution by Smith here in the second half of this game. We saw it in the first half.
Brent, that's a pattern of his and been that way for many years. He used a lot of people in the first half, and he goes with his people in the second half that start for him.
And it's working well. Overled Thompson out of bounds.
Now, considering the score, not a smart pass by Kenny Smith. You're down to 4:12 on the game. You want to make every possession count. Make Notre Dame foul the inside people.
Stevenson. Down to 3. Dean Smith calls timeout. 3:39 left in regulation. Crunch time coming up.
The women's NCAA.
America rides Monroe.
From the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, I'm Brent Musburger along with Billy Packer. North Carolina leading Notre Dame 65-62. The Tar Heels with possession. 3:38 remaining. Timeouts, team fouls, and the possession arrow pointing in favor of Notre Dame.
You see, Notre Dame gave North Carolina the look of a zone. Then they went to man-to-man. They just tried to camouflage their defense, but it didn't work.
I find it hard to believe that he's only a freshman.
You know, you almost want to foul him inside, put him on the foul line. You can't stop him in there with his offensive moves.
Stevenson. Short read. He's a monster.
Yes, he is. He is tough.
And you'll be able to check in on the end of that game coming up right after this one. Georgetown and Kansas, point apart. Wide open.
Boy, Kenny Smith can't buy one. He had the easy layup. He tried to go under and use the rim.
And still Carolina cannot shake the Irish. Rivers up into Wolf. Bose is there with a big field goal. 3 points again. 8 in the game by Bose. Now we approach the 2-minute mark.
67-64.
You know who they want.
Who are they going to? There's David Rivers again, so tough in the penetration. And North Carolina goes back in his zone and trying to stop this guy. He gets the screens and penetrates anyway.
Royal slides down, trying to come around, and Popson is going to be called for his 4th personal. Smith can't believe it.
That's one of those big calls in a game, Brent. Hobson standing there. Royal goes down. Let's see. There's Dave Hobson. Okay, he put the little leg out. Good call by the official.
16 fouls on the Tar Heels, 5 against Notre Dame. So Carolina will be in the 1-1 the next time they foul Notre Dame. The Irish will come up to that line. Notre Dame with a foul to go.
Brent, both teams good free throw shooting ball clubs.
Rivers short. 3 is short. And Bose can't run it down. It goes over at the 125 mark. J.R. Reed has scored Dean Smith's last 12 points in this game. He has carried them down the stretch of this East Regional semifinal.
Look for North Carolina maybe to spread them out a little 4 corners here. Clock in their favor. There goes Kenny Smith.
Foul by Hicks.
And he's tough to handle in the 4 corners. The worm has turned for Digger Phelps. Now he has to go play. This man's taken a team to 13 straight NCAA tournaments. Ties UCLA for the record now. He hadn't been to that Final Four in 5 years.
This senior class has not played in a Final Four.
That's right. And interestingly, they have not won an ACC championship, and Dean Smith has not been to the Final Four unless he has won the championship. Good
But it'll take a great effort to eliminate. This is a splendid team. 5
seconds coming up.
Lebo comes back to help out, and Rivers commits his 3rd personal foul at the 52-second mark. 69-64, Carolina.
On this now, we see as it goes down the line, I talk about 5 seconds. A fella in this area of the court, the front court, really can dribble the ball for a period of 4 and then pick it back up, and the count goes off. It starts a new count. So that's why Wolf didn't get the 5-second count there.
Williams checking in. And Popson sits down.
Replacing Dave Popson.
Now, Jeff Lebo has been quiet in the second half. All 6 of his points tonight came in the first half.
Top free throw shooter of the starters. You like to have the son of a coach on the foul line in these kind of situations.
And Royal rebounds the miss. The 3. Oh, what a way by Hicks. Royal recovers. Royal stays with it underneath. Here's Hicks coming out for the Irish. Now 35 seconds. Timeout called by Phelps.
70-66.
We'll come back for the final 35. North Carolina leading by 4. Dave Popson returns for the Tar Heels. Great hustle underneath here by Hicks.
A super job to follow up his own shot, keep the ball alive. Notre Dame just outfights with Royal and Hicks on the inside. You watch Hicks get it. Puts it right back up. Just a great individual effort by Hicks. Brent, if you're in a situation in Notre Dame right now, you can't allow North Carolina to work off much time on the clock. So look at the foul. If anybody, J.R. Reed, he's the lowest percentage foul shooter on the team.
Digger goes to Jameer Jackson and Smith in that backcourt, and here's J.R. Reed.
Look out.
And a man.
Now that's going to be a basket and an intentional foul.
J.R. Reed.
See if the man will call it intentional. Nope, he's not going to call it intentional. Look at that move in the open court. J.R. goes in and hits it.
In the second half, J.R. Reed is 9 of 10 from the field. For the game, he is 14 of 17.
And Dean says he's not our man.
Right, he's 2 men.
Good tap back. Got a foul if you're Notre Dame. You got a foul. They don't want to foul Kenny Smith.
Reed takes it in on him again. The Tar Heels going to a regional final. Rivers misses the 3. Score that one, however. Score that shot. So North Carolina 74, Notre Dame 68 is the final score.
North Carolina will beat Syracuse.
And J.R. Reed with 31 points ties his career high here in the Meadowlands.
Syracuse. Thank you for coming.
And as a freshman, he goes to a regional final here in the East. J.R. Reed is just 40 minutes away from a Final Four. He scored 20 in the second half against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, who came back but lost out by 6 points, 74-68. Kansas, Georgetown. We got to check in on that. Let's go to our studio now, and here's Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, thank you, Brent. That's the 32nd win of the season now for North Carolina. That's happened only 2 other times in school history, 1957 and 1982. In both of those years, North Carolina won the national championship. The Chevy MVPs, Rivers for Notre Dame and J.R. Reed, who else, for North Carolina. In the East now, at East Rutherford, North Carolina will play the winner of the game you're